Guys, do I have an episode for you today? Because this past week has been a very, very interesting week. So I'm not even going to waste any more time. Guys, gals, welcome to another episode of This May Be Nothing. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, it is Saturday. We are dropping episode number 10. Hey, it's episode number 10, guys. That's exciting. Of This May Be Nothing. And if you do not know, this is the podcast where we take those random conversations, those random thoughts and observations. Do you see what I did there? It's a rhyming scheme. And we turn them into something worth chewing. And before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to give a quick story time. This past week, I was invited to lunch by some colleagues, and I was a little bit apprehensive of the place that they told me. It's a Chisanyama spot in the heart of Joburg. It's not so far from Maboneng, and the place around it is very dingy. Um, it's not the cleanest area. There's lots happening, right, on that street. There really is a lot happening. And before we left the office, I was feeling a little bit anxious and like worried about going to this place. And I felt like the closer we got to the venue, like my anxiety rose even more. And anyways, we arrived there and I'm just looking around and I'm just like, so much is happening at the same time. Like there really is. For those people that know this place, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, like so much is happening and my anxiety, I wouldn't say it got the better of me, but I was definitely like, ooh, we better watch our backs. And then we got inside, we went in, we found the spot that we were gonna sit at and the container where they were preparing the food that we were gonna eat. And we sat down, we ordered the food arrived, we started eating, and I was extremely surprised. Like, it the flavors were just flavoring. Like it was so good. I chowed so much that by the time we got back to the office, the itis was slowly hitting me, man. Like that's how good it was. And I really was surprised. But yeah, and you know what? It's funny because today's episode really it started with a conversation that I was having with a friend of mine about restaurants in Joburg, and coincidentally a day after I go to this Chisanyama spot, and then I had the experience that I had, and I just found it extremely, I found it funny. The conversation that I was having was really around like the restaurants that are opening up in Joburg and how like they've got that new car smell. They are gorgeous to look at. They are aesthetically pleasing restaurants and they really are popping up all over the city. And you know the kinds that I'm talking about. These are the ones that have the perfect lighting. Like the light fixtures look really expensive and they've got the velvet chairs and it's like the mood lights, the leafy corner, and they've got those ceramic plates that cost way more than my monthly electricity bill. And it's places like that where as soon as you walk in, you immediately want to take your phone out and start creating like an Instagram reel, or you just want to take photos because these places look so good. But here's the catch. The food in some of these places, like they're fine. It's okay. It's not bad. It's definitely not disgusting. It's just underwhelming. And yet these places are packed and they are booked out weeks in advance. Meanwhile, there is some small, unassuming restaurant with no neon sign, no flower wall, and it doesn't tick all the boxes to be Instagram worthy. And it doesn't have those corners where you can snap the shots. Even the what you call these things? The bathroom mirror selfies. Yeah, we only take those pictures in aesthetically pleasing places. And these restaurants, they are half empty most of the time. And yes, everything was happening. These conversations were being had, me chowing, Chisanyama at this Chisanyama spot. It got me thinking, man, this isn't just about restaurants. Like, it's about how we often chase aesthetics over quality most of the time. in the food that we eat or the restaurants that we go to, in the clothes that we wear, in the friendships that we have, and even in the careers that we want to obtain. It just feels like everything. It's aesthetics over authenticity, or aesthetics over quality. You see, I do believe, as a marketer, I fully believe that we live in a time where the look of something often matters more than the substance of it. I think that social media has trained our brains to make snap judgments based on how something appears. And so, because of that, we assume that if the decor is beautiful, the food must be amazing. And if the outfit looks great in photos, it must be good quality. If the person's Instagram feed is curated, they must have their lives together. But here's a question that I want to ask you guys. How many decisions have you made lately were based more on how something looked over how it actually feels or functions? And Shay, man, I think we should give grace where grace is due. It's not always a conscious thing. I do feel like sometimes we genuinely don't realize that we've swapped real for the pretty. But here's the problem with that. Aesthetics are easier to fake than quality is to achieve. You can easily paint over cracks and you can rearrange things in flattering lighting, but good taste, real skill, true connections, those can't be staged. You see, in Joburg, because that is where I reside, I've noticed this pattern, right? You'll see a new restaurant launch, and the first wave of people who go there are often influencers doing their influencing thing. They're there with the tripod and the phone, the DJI pockets, and the iPhone 16 Pro Maxes with the fancy zooms and the whatnot. They're doing their influencers thing. The photos that come out there look like they deserve to be in a lifestyle magazine. They are absolutely beautiful, like the shadows, the depth of field, the contrast. But when you look closely, and I'm talking like really closely, check the food reviews. They are, how can I put it? Like, they are polite, you know? No one is saying anything bad about the food, but no one is also raving about it either. But because the space looks so beautiful, it almost feels like we forgive the fact that the food is forgettable. Here is where I start questioning myself. Do I do the same thing? Like, do I overlook mediocrity when the packaging is nice and pretty? And then I think about the opposite. That small Ethiopian restaurant on the corner. No fancy chairs, no designer plates, and the menu is definitely printed on laminated A4 paper that, like, the edges are round, like they've bent in. And when you eat that food there, the flavors are just doing what the flavors are meant to do, man. And even the hospitality. I feel like some of those owners greet you like you've been going there for years. That's something a vibe can't replace. This chasing of pretty over good doesn't stop at food, right? Let's think about it. Think about fashion. The dress that you bought because it looked amazing in the store, but now it's sitting at the back of the wardrobe because it's too itchy, or it's too see-through, or it's just uncomfortable to wear. Work, the dream job with the cool office and the free snacks, but a toxic work culture that drains you. Even relationships, the friend who looks perfect on paper, successful, well dressed, well spoken, but is super unreliable and self centered. Even homes, those minimalist, magazine ready apartments that look great in photos. They're on Property 24. You can just keep swiping through the pictures, but they are a nightmare to actually live in because there is no storage and every surface shows fingerprints. And I think this is just me, right? But something that I do not understand is, why is the fridge and the couch, why can they be that close together? Make it make sense. But hey, before I go into a tangent, like, just think about it. The fridge and the couch, they should not be touching. So here's another question for you guys. Which area of your life right now might be more aesthetic than authentic? And every time I ask myself this question, I have to look away from, like, my tech bag. I am somebody who really does enjoy technology and, like, gadgets and stuff. And the number of USB Type-C cables that I have is an indicator that I have chosen things that look good over things that actually work. And I need to close my eyes every time I look at that bag because, wow, I do believe, as someone who has dibbled and dabbled in, advertising and stuff, I do believe there's a psychological reason for this whole thing. Visuals are processed a lot faster than any other kind of information, right? Our brains are wired to respond to beauty. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. I think that's the same. Add to that the way we live online, where shareability is currency, and suddenly the most beautiful option feels like the best option, even if it's not. We also live in a culture that sells us the idea of quality through visuals. We see a product in the right light, with the right music, with the right font, the right colors, and we think, this must be worth it. But how many times have you brought something home and realized the only thing that made it special was how it looked, i.e., my tech bag with all those USB Type-C cables? You see, the real danger here isn't just that we waste money, though we do. We really are wasting money. It's that we miss out on real experiences when we dismiss the small, not so glamorous places. I feel like we lose flavors and traditions that aren't being dressed up for social media. Relationships with people who care more about craft than clout. And stories we wouldn't have heard otherwise. Sometimes the prettiest things are often designed to distract you from noticing they're not very good. Here's what I am challenging myself to do. I am trying, What do they say? 1% better each day. I'm trying. I really am. I am challenging myself to go somewhere that hasn't been on my Instagram feed yet or isn't super raved, I've always wanted to just stumble on a place, like, oh my goodness, I was taking a walk and then I took a short left and then boom, there was this little cafe that I've never been to before or I've never seen on the gram. And oh my goodness, they chocolate croissants were to die for. Like, that's genuinely what I want to experience, I want to choose something because it's well made, not well marketed. Although sometimes I do feel like those two things can, like, the line is a little bit blurry. I mean, call me biased, but Apple products are well made and they're well marketed. But that's a conversation for another day. I want to spend time with people who feel good to be around, even if no one else knows who they are. I want to pay attention to my senses, taste, touch, smell, before I pay attention to how something looks. When was the last time you discovered something incredible that didn't look like much at first? Now, yes, I have been saying that, things that are so beautiful, they're just a distraction and they're not that great. But the truth, don't hear what I'm not saying, okay? Beauty and quality can absolutely coexist. Look at Rolex. Look at Ferrari. Just look at Apple. They're not the same thing. The best things in life aren't always the ones you can post. And maybe there's a certain magic in finding beauty in what wasn't designed to be seen, but to be felt, So the next time you're choosing a meal or you're choosing a shirt or a person, an opportunity, ask yourself, am I chasing the look or the real thing? Guys, thanks so much for listening to this episode of This May Be Nothing. If you've got a hidden gem, a restaurant, a store, or an experience you think I need to try, guys, please send me a DM. I love finding the unpolished treasures of Johannesburg. I really, really do. And if you like this episode, share it with someone who might need a reminder that pretty doesn't always mean good. Guys, same mic, same spiral, same small rebellion. I will catch you next time.